about the waves you just scored.
Yeah, we went to I can't name spots, but
Please don't.
I can tell you where we are. We're at the Telos Beach House, and that's on Sapika Island. And here with a few mates, and we're just waiting for a swell to turn up. It's sort of taken its time, and we just went and surfed this fun little right-hander, sort of peeling down a reef. So we just got back. We're going to have some lunch now, and hopefully some more swell will push in a little bit later this afternoon.
So there's a rumor that you ended up taking a sharp eye. Tell us a little bit about the sharp eye.
Yeah, I brought 2 boards with me. A little Inferno 70, the Inferno model, little 6'1". I've been nicknamed Tbone Toledo, apparently.
And I got some photo evidence of this. There it is.
I
don't know if you can see it, but it says Tbone Toledo. Apparently, T-Bone's riding Sharp Eye 77 out there. What's your other board, T-Bone?
It's a white chocolate. I'm going all out for Geordie Smith to take it out. So I'm riding one of his dad's boards. It's the pin drop model.
Nice.
6'4". Yeah, love it. Awesome board. Smith shapes. Graham Smith. Been shaping for years and years from South Africa. So yeah, I'm riding it. I'm riding it because I'm back in Geordie.
Yeah, no, we're gonna see if you pick Geordie later on. Hey T-Bone, today what we're gonna cover is we're gonna cover a little Tahiti recap. Talk a little bit about that. We've had some requests for it, and as always, there's chapters in the bottom of this video if you want to skip ahead to the Fiji preview, and then in a different video, we're actually gonna do our picks. And that's going to be a quick video. And if you're in the podcast, we're going to play it all the way through. Anyway, T-Bone, let's kick this off. Let's start with, and by the way, this is the thumbnail you're going to want to see for the fantasy picks. So the very first in the men's side is Jack versus Italo, which we're going to get into. I think that's going to be awesome. But that's what the thumbnail looked like if you're looking for just the picks video. Anyway, moving on. Dude, Tahiti recap. A couple things I had in mind, and you'll probably jump in as I throw these topics out. The first one was we got a comment on our video, and I'm going to read this real quickly. Somebody asked, how well do you guys do? Perhaps, or how well do these guys pick? They want to know about our picks. Perhaps they should do a here is how we did last time with our picks for those that are just joining in. And, of course, that long response is what old Surf Dad put. And I just want everyone to know, like, kind of what our style is. And we're not – here, let me read this real quick, T-Bone. This was my response to that. And then we're going to get into your results. So I said basically – I'm glad you brought this up. Those that have watched the show a few times understand that we are not sports handicappers or fantasy gurus. We talk and we talk about how we either tanked or went well each event. We do this for fun. We have decades of pro surf knowledge backing us and share that in previews and our breakdowns. But the truth is, predicting surf fantasy is a challenging endeavor. I mean, you would agree with that, T-Bone?
Yeah.
We also provide a surf stats site that we feel is the best out there, and that's surfmetrics.app. And those tools, and with those tools, I'm firmly in the middle of the pack. That includes having Jacko Baker make bag picks for me, and I go on. And then T-Bone, on the other hand, is having a good year. He's in the upper range of our fantasy league. And then finally I say, thanks for this comment. Remember that this is all supposed to be fun, and I strongly suggest looking at our picks and finding where we are right and where we are wrong and make your own decisions. Cheers. So, T-Bone, I just wanted people that are new to the program, thank you for joining us, to know where we're coming from. And with that, it also segues into your results. And, dude, Do you know where you ended up in your overall rank?
No, I don't.
Out of 80,000 teams that are out there, you ranked 1,393. And that
Shit.
might not sound great, but that is great. Like breaking 1,000. Anyone out there who broke 1,000 in your league, you're killing it. And Tbone and I ended up at 24,000 because we'll get into what happened there with me not making my picks and
Oh yeah.
excuses. But anyway, I
Yep.
made some mistakes in the last event. I didn't make my men's picks for Tahiti in time because I thought I made them on the show and I didn't. But let's focus on Tbone as our shining star. Tbone, your event rank was 6,000, which is pretty good for Tahiti. And I just wanted to kind of start the show with that. And let's move on and talk about Tahiti. But actually, I want to go back. Tbone, actually, we'll hit it in when we do the. We'll hit it when we give out the awards in just a moment. I just want to say that I thought that the announcers were pretty good in Tahiti. I thought it was a big upgrade, and I especially enjoyed Stace Galbraith.
Same.
Any thoughts? Any thoughts on that?
No, those two make a great duo. No, I really enjoyed it. It was refreshing and it was honest. There was some honesty there. Wasn't sort of masquerading what was going on. It was great. It was great. Enjoyed it a lot better.
Yeah, I think so. Joe Topel and Flick were together, and then I really enjoyed Kaipo and Stace. I thought they nailed it. And then, of course, in the water is Strider, and he's always pretty entertaining, dude. He still brings it, and he's super. I think the thing is he's authentic. He's like, wait, there's one point he goes, hey, we're getting paid for this? Like, because it was pretty cool. He's sitting in the channel watching Perfect Surf. What a dream gig, right?
Yeah, 100%.
The next thing we talked about the rookies of the year and whether or not it was going to be Joel Vaughn or Marco Mignon, or looked like Al Cleland had a shot there at the end. But
Yep.
Marco got it, and there he is doing his best Gabriel Medina in the Olympics impersonation. And, of course, out of the women, it was, after post-cut, was Vahine Fierro, Bella Kenworthy, not in that order, and Aaron Brooks. And Aaron Brooks took it home. And we'll probably talk more about her in a moment. But congratulations to those two. I think well earned.
Yeah, I mean nothing against Marco, but I think Al Cleland, he should have won the Send It award, Send It Rookie of the Award year. Yeah, I remember in Margaret River when I think he made the cut. He came into the Red Bull tent and just started having beers with all the boys. To me, that's the Rookie of the year.
Dude, he's a fan favorite for a good reason. And he's got a personality that fits the 80s and 90s pro surfer, but he also has that charge mentality that everybody loves. I love watching it, And the guy's real. I've talked to him a couple of times and interviewed him in Portugal. You can see that on the channel. Maybe I'll put that link in the description. He's awesome, man. So there's your rookies of the year. I wanted to get into a couple of controversies from Tahiti, and one of them was this. This was Jack Robinson and Elo Ferreira setting up what's going to be a great first-round matchup in the finals. But did you see this, Tbone? It was a potential interference here where Jack darted across to try to get the inside position on Italo. And Italo kind of said, hey, wait, wasn't that interference? And I don't know, did you see this, Tbone?
No, I didn't. I heard a lot about it.
Yeah.
I didn't see. So when was that? The quarter?
This was the quarterfinals, right? Heat 2 quarterfinals. And I think my thoughts were that, yeah, it was probably an interference. And one of the things, Stace Galbraith, they almost tried to shut him up because he's like, look, they ended up giving Italo priority, but you can't give priority. It's either no priority or an interference. It's one or the other. And they gave him priority, meaning, yeah, Jack got in his way, but that means it's interference. So anyway, the bottom line is, dude, I'm glad that they didn't call this interference and just let them play. Like in a football game, if the defense is a little rough on the receivers, you let them play. And this is big stakes.
Yeah.
You let them play and
Did
not
anyone
have it
get
decided.
Did
On
Jack
that
get
wave, on that wave, no one even got a wave.
Yeah.
And obviously Jack ended up winning and moving on. And there were other controversies as well, but the biggest one is this. The Griffin Colapinto, Joao Chianca, that matchup. And I think you texted me, Tbone, and said, hey, I think that Joao won. Is that what your take was?
Yeah, I thought Joao won that, yeah.
And a lot of people agree with you out there. I watched it several times. I actually thought Griffin won, even though Joao surfing, especially in that tight little tube, the positioning and the way he threaded that needle was incredible. But I just think it was a smaller wave, and you could argue that one either way. So tell us in the comments what you think. I know it's late in the game, but if you have an opinion on that, I'm sure that's going to fire everybody up again after the dust had already settled.
Hey, just quickly, mate. Just quickly.
Yeah.
Just going back to the start of the heat. I think anything goes. Gloves are on. Anything goes. You know what I mean? Like push, shove, cut across each other. It's all on.
I think that I like the old school of that, but I think I draw the line at, hey, you're getting in the way, you're blocking. I think when you start to block someone and then you don't go, I think that's a different situation. And that was potentially a situation with Jack and Italo, although, neither of them went. But I like that. Tbone wants a first couple jabs in the fight. I'm into it. Let's carry on. And the one thing we had this conversation before, but the fact that Ethan Ewing went out early, and early being the round of 16, was it? Anyway.
Yeah, I think so.
He went out early, and that left the door open for Jack. And it's disappointing to know that he will not be in the finals after making the last three finals, 2022, 2023, 2024.
Yep.
So that's a little disappointing. And, of course, that let the door open for Jack. And congratulations to the winners. Jack and Molly, an Aussie sweep and American runner-up. But we'll be seeing all of them in the finals. Hey, any thoughts on these wins? I thought Jack surfed as well as you can surf, and he really lived up to his potential at Teopo, and was on another level and somehow communicating with Huey underwater. Tell me what your thoughts are on all that.
Starting off with Griff, I mean, he was facing the cut back in Margaret River.
Good point.
Now he's finishing, now he's third in the world, going into his third straight final. That was crazy effort.
Yeah.
Molly, I mean, did you pick Molly and Jack as your powers?
Oh, yeah, let's talk about that. Speaking of results. We both were going to pick Jack, and you picked Jack, and I was like, fair enough. You know what? I'm going to do something different. I'm going to take a risk, and I ended up powering Baron Mamiya, who went out early, I think round of 16. And I thought for sure he would have a better result. I did power Molly, and you ended up powering Vahine, which was also a good call in hindsight. But like I said, if you listen to Tbone and I and decide which one of us is right, you would have been right. So Jack and Molly were the power surfers that you wanted to pick, and I thought I was super impressed with Katie Simmers the way she charged. And the other
Oh,
one,
she packed it.
I don't know if I don't know. I didn't put the picture in here. Tbone, I have to give a little bit of props to number 77, Filipe Toledo. Actually, he turned and went on a couple of pretty good size waves, and there were pictures to show that. Now they were looking at the barrel. He was sort of on the shoulder, but still, dude went, and he did a lot more than I thought he would. I'll just say it like that. Not impressed.
No. Yeah. Yeah. It's, no, he did. No. Yeah. Not impressed. No. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fair. I want you to say what it was. He did better than I thought he would do. Oh, you're cutting out a little bit. Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. There's a delay.
No, mate. No, he did. He definitely improved. Let's just say that.
That's a nice way to say it. Hey, well, let's go into and talk about the winners. Here's Yuma. Jack Robinson is giving you an applause. Yuma was our event winner for the Old Surf Dad League, and then the other one was the Shark League. And in the Shark League, taking home the $840. We had a little small pay Shark League, and that was the Sniper. And dude, when the numbers came down, I got an email from Glenn, who was Boogie Border 670, and Glenn was so gutted that he missed it by the slimmest of margins. But hey, we're thinking about, I did a little preliminary Shark League this year, and there was 40 people, $20 each, whatever it is, $800. If you are interested in doing some kind of Shark League next year and you want to throw some money down and have a prize pool, winner take all, let me know in the comments, and I'll do it again. And I know you're keen. And our own Tbone, do you see yourself on there? You came in sixth. You did drop a notch.
I just missed out on the final five. Bugger.
But you know what? I cut it out so that we could see your name up there.
There you go. We didn't know what we're talking about, no?
Participation trophies. Hey, listen, our last one, and this was the big one, was this is a congratulation to Reese, who won the autographed Waves coffee table book, autographed by John Florence. And this is an outstanding prize. I love this book. And he made a big comeback. It was pretty exciting. Now, the WSL didn't update the numbers for a week, but we finally got the results. And Reese took home the big prize. And you know what? I was afraid he was going to be another Australian. We have 2 Portuguese winners and 2 Australian winners. And Reese is from Ireland, dude. How cool is that?
Where did he finish on the whole comp? Where did he finish?
No, globally? That's what I'm saying. He won the entire. Globally, I think he was. He was 7th globally, I believe. He was either 7th or 11th. I'm mixing it up with the Sniper. I think Reese was 7th, and the Sniper was 11th in the world. That's overall out of everybody.
Wow,
so
impressive.
To get on the first page, if you made the first page, the top 20 in the Old Surf Dad League, you had a good season, because that's hard to do. There's nearly 1,000 people on there, and we'll do the same thing next year. So, get on the mail list if you haven't at oldsurfdad.com, and I'll send it out when it's all ready to go. All right, dude, let's talk about Fiji.
I'll give you a little bit of intel just before we start.
Please do.
Yeah, so we just had a session at the Telos, and Adzi had a chat with Matt Biolas, who was in the lineup. And he mentioned to Adzi, he's flying to Fiji tomorrow, and he's got 5 surfers in the final 5 riding his surfboards. And apparently the white chocolate, Geordie Smith, was going to try out a Mayhem. So there was Jago, Caroline, Betty Lou, Griff, Gabby. So that's 5, yeah, and possibly Geordie. So there you go.
And he also told me, Tbone,
Yeah.
that despite being shaper for all these people and being from San Clemente, that it was more than likely that Jack Robinson was going to fucking win because he's from West Oz and he's the Vortex Shaman and he's the man.
There you go. You heard it from Ads.
So wait, so this is Barrel Podcast special appearance. I always mix up the other two. That's Adsy?
Yeah, that's Adsy.
And Adsy always picks Jack Robinson and powers him every single time.
He'll
right?
pick Jack Robinson even if he's not even in the event.
Now that is diehard Aussie, the kind of spirit we love. I can't wait to see if you're going to pick him, but we're going to get to the picks in just a moment. I want to talk about the final 5, Tbone. This is the last finals. This is it. Eric Logan's dream is over. Are you going to miss it? And think about that for a second. Are you going to miss it?
I'll miss the cut because I'm a sad bastard. No, I won't miss it at all. No, I think it's good to see the back of it. It's good for the surfers. It was sort of entertaining there, but I think it's better we go back to the original format. But I do like the subtle little tweaks that they have made for 26, though.
Yeah, I do like the new format that's coming in 2026 as well. I got an email from a fan, a fellow board riders from the Old Surf Dad show, and he said, you know, I love getting your emails, by the way, and I do comment, and Tbone and I actually comment on the YouTube. Like, that's not some AI, that's us actually doing that. So if you want to comment below, we'll answer you eventually, sometimes not right away. But my point is this. Scott is his name. Scott emailed me, and we had a chat back and forth, and he said, I can't figure out if I'm going to miss it or not. I hated it when it first came into play. But now, for me, too, I feel this. Dude, it's compelling. It's actually pretty compelling in the fact that it's going to be in Fiji. And under these circumstances, I love that first matchup between Jack and Italo. And surprisingly, that Caroline, Betty Luke could be a good matchup, too. But I don't know. I'm conflicted on it. I want to see some kind of down the road finals that gets a different trophy. You know, we talked about that before. What do you think in the comments below? Share your thoughts. But let's move on. Dude, the forecast. For the next, we can put this video out whenever we want because no one's surfing for another week, man. This forecast at the front end looks horrible. I didn't even know cloud break could be 1 to 2, but that's what it's going to be the first day.
Geez, we're going right down to the final. So theoretically, how many heats do they need to run to complete it?
Well, it's with the new format change, it's what is it? It's 5, so it's 10?
Possibly,
No,
maybe
it's not
roughly
even
around
10.
that.
It's less than 10. It's potentially a max 10 because if it goes to 3s on the other heats. So, or actually a couple more. Dude, I'm not mathing right now. But I look at this thing, and it's going to be a one-day event. That's always been the plan. And if you look at it, the last 3 days, I could see them running. Boy, they'd be really pushing it to run on that. Day. I hope they do. That last day looks to be the day. And, of course, this is going to change. This is a week out.
Oh, I know.
They may run it prior to this. It's a little scary, though, to see the front end of that forecast. And the last 2 days at Tavarua has been super fun from what I've heard. But that's your forecast, so base your picks on that. The other thing I just wanted to casually mention, Tbone, that there is a Fiji Surfing Association. They can't have wild cards, so it's more of an exposition sort of heat sort of thing. And they're going to be running that. And in there is a guy named James Kusitino.
Wow.
This kid, look at this kid surf. This kid has more style and steez.
Wow.
And for those of you in the podcast, we're watching a video of this kid, and he's absolutely playing with, I'd call that 6 to 8 foot cloud break.
Wow.
And he's like, he's got
how's his
parallel
stance?
stance. Like, dude, look at that, man. Like Steezy, he's like sitting on his board. He's doing the coffin ride.
Oh, are you kidding me?
And
Wow.
he's absolutely playing with it. And this kid, imagine, there's a couple wipeouts there. Imagine he gets a wild card. He doesn't have to have any kind of competitive skill. And look, he's riding kind of a bigger board. Now, he just made an impossible barrel, but
Wow.
if you guys
Has he
know,
got
he's
fins in
standing
it?
like, he's sliding all over the place. He's like body surfing. He's putting he's pig dogging with his knee on the board. He's doing the parallel stance like an SUP, like the old Hawaiian bully stance. It's absolutely insane. So, what were you gonna say?
So get Kelly and they can have a heat against each other.
I think this kid should be if he's in a wild card next year, he's gonna beat some people. Look how big that board is.
Especially
Anyway,
if it's like that.
love to see it. And Former picked him up. What's that?
Especially if it's going to be those sort of conditions.
Yeah, absolutely playing with it. Anyway, so there'll be an exhibition heat with him involved, and they probably do that the day before. And I think it's 4 men and 4 women, and they'll have a little Fiji finals for our entertainment. So look forward to that. And that's James Kusitino. I'll put his Instagram in the link in the description. All right, and we also know that the finals format has changed. Just as a reminder, we did a whole video on it, link in the description, where number 1 has one. Why is this so hard? If Yago or Molly win the first heat, they're the champion. It does not go 2 out of 3 automatically. They get first dibs. If they win the first heat, it's over. So that is a pretty big advantage. And I have to say, there's a lot. I'm going to call this out, Tbone. I call it like I see it. And I back Brazilian fans when I think they're right, and I don't back Brazilian fans when I think it's just chatter. And I know it's Brazilian fans that maybe aren't as enmeshed in the sport as a lot of us are, but I hear a lot of chatter about how they're always getting ripped off. But that's pretty rich, Tbone, when you consider that they changed this rule and Yago was in the number 1 position. And it gives him a huge advantage. Imagine if it was Jordy and then they changed the rule, how much we would hear about that. So I don't really want to hear how it's unfair all the time for the Brazilians. Everyone has their turn where they're going to get a bad heat score. It happens to everybody.
I still don't get why they did it, but anyway. We've already talked about that.
Yeah. So finally, we're going to go into I want to talk about Surf Metrics for a second and say, hey, Dill did a great job this whole year. He has a little support button, and if you click it, it goes and you can donate $5 to him. If you used his website during the year, man, I encourage you to go in and give him $5, and that's $5 Aussie. Dude, it's $3.25 US. Just throw it at him. He'd love to have get him a bar of wax, or, let him have a meal at a restaurant or something. Maybe help fund his next surf trip. Who knows? But
that was really helpful. It was really helpful, that all those stats.
It was super helpful, and I want to pull it up real fast right now, Tbone, if you have a moment. I don't know how your time's doing over there, but let's add this back to stage. Let me change to this tab and Surf Metrics. You know what I want to start with, Tbone, is season stats real quickly. I just want to mention. Hello, there we go. You guys can't read this, but I just wanted to read off some of the average heat scores. The highest average heat score out of everyone in the final 5. Who do you think it is, T-Bone? Yago, Jordy, Griff, or Jack, or Elo? Who has the highest average heat score? Because you and I use that a lot when
I
making our
can't
picks.
see, but I'm
I
saying
know.
Italo
I've got
models.
it.
Italo
I've got it
model.
hidden. It was not Elo. Elo was 3rd. First was Griffin. Second was Jack. 3rd was Elo, which is crazy. And then trailing those 2 is Yagodora and Jordy in last for average
Probably
heat
makes
score.
sense. His drift did come
There's a
back
lot
pretty strong.
Yeah, and Griff had a couple of heats where he was getting 8s especially in those last few events. And a couple he just came up short. I think that going in and looking at the event stats and looking at the season stats is really helpful stuff.
Definitely.
The one thing I definitely wanted to do before we get out of Surf Metrics, he has this matchups thing, and it's defaulted to Julian. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to put in Elo, and I'm going to put in over here, I'm going to put in Jack, and let's look at their side by side. Jack Robinson. And you can see there it's
Wow.
3-4. So it was 3-3 tied up until Jack just won that heat. But if you look at the matchups, the average heat score, Elo's slightly higher in their matchup. The max heat is exactly identical even. Their excellent waves is exactly even. And the highest best wave is a nod to Jack. So this is pretty much a dead even heat. And I can't wait for us to make our picks. I want to do one more here. I want to go to the other one, which is Caroline. Oh, I got to change it. If you go up here, it says MCT, Men's Championship Tour. We'll go to Women's Championship Tour. We'll go to Carissa. By the way, dude, you missed this. Tatiana Weston Webb is pregnant and expecting a girl.
Congratulations.
And yeah, congratulations, Tati. And she says she's still going to be back for the 2026 tour. Like, I would bet against that. What do you think? Do you think Tati, after having a baby, is going to return in 2026? Now it's 7 months away.
Well, some women, as soon as they have the baby, go straight back to work.
But we're talking about an athlete who's going to surf pipe, who's actually not going to surf pipe, goes straight into the
That's the
Australian
beauty about
leg.
surfing. She won't she'll pick up, the talent and the skills that she's got from surfing. It's not like she's a 100-meter sprinter. I don't think it'd be that bad.
All right, says a guy who's never been pregnant. Well, let's see. Let's see what happens. I want to put up
What do I know?
Betty Lou. I want to put up Betty Lou and Caroline. And I did this, and this will surprise you. Betty Lou wins their head-to-head battle 5-3. And her stats are a lot better than Caroline's. Betty Lou's average heat score is nearly 12, and Caroline's is a 10.27.
It doesn't have the locations of
Betty
those
Lou's
wins, though.
max heats. Well, we know that this year it would have been. They definitely were up against each other in Burley, I believe, and Trestles. I think Trestles. I don't know. I wish it did have the locations. We could look that up, but that's for you guys to do out in the audience if you want to dive deeper. But I think it's interesting to see their matchup. So I'm looking forward to that heat as well. Let's add this back. The only thing I wanted to mention, Tbone, it's very important, is in the years past, you've been able to reselect your WSL finals picks. And I think that's, for those of you who are new to this, if you pick, let's say in the first round, you pick Betty Lou and Caroline wins, you can go ahead and change your pick to Caroline for the next heat up against, who would that be? Gabriella Bryan, I want to say, or anyway, I can't even remember. No, it's someone else. Why am I blanking? Anyway, the point is you can do reselects in the finals. The last thing, I want to look at the women's, and I wanted to, we're going to make our picks in the next video, but before we move on to that, Tbone, I wanted to just let you know that I wrote, where is it? Right here. I wanted to look at the women's and tell you, yeah, I was going to tell you some cool stuff, that what their results were. Here it is. What their results were last season in Fiji. So last year, Betty Lou went out in the elimination round to Joanne DeFay, who's also expecting a baby any day now. Caroline went out in the quarters, 5th place, lost to Tyler Wright. And then Gabriella Bryan also went out in the elimination round, and she lost to Erin Brooks. I had them flipped. I guess Katie is 3rd. Yes. So Katie also went out in the quarters to Erin Brooks. And Molly last year went out in the semis. Guess who she went out to?
Who?
Erin Brooks. Erin Brooks basically swept
True.
most of the women on that. Now, remember, it was smaller, but that kind of gives you an idea of how they fared last year. So of those, Molly Molly had the best result in Fiji last year. Let's go to the men's, do the same thing.
Do you
If
reckon
have
they'll
any
run the women before the last day? You reckon they'll run the women first if they're going to hope for it to be the big day on the last day of the waiting period?
No, I think the whole concept, Tbone, is a Super Bowl type of situation where men and women are going. It's a one-day, winner-take-all event, and that's how they've built it from the get-go. So large or small, and what they've always done in the past is women first, then men's heat. Women's heat, men's heat, and alternate it all the way to the finals. So I don't think that they'll split it into 2 days because I think they want to package it to the public as a quote-unquote, Grandmaster final or Super Bowl. Good question, though. Just in the men's real quickly before we get to picks, Jordy lost in the elimination round last year and has had mixed results in Fiji. Iago and Griff also went to the elimination round and won. And, of course, Griff last year went on to win the event in the finals against Rio. But along the way, Iago by the way, Griff beat Gabriel Medina and Jack on the way there. And Jack obviously lost to Griff in the semis. So Jack had a pretty good result. And Iago lost to Jack. So it was kind of like Iago lost to Jack, then Jack went and lost to Griffin. You still with me, brother? And then finally,
mate,
Elo lost to Barron in the round of 16 and got 9th place. I hope you all are following me. Sometimes I geek out and nerd out a little bit, and I went a little fast, but you can go look at the stats or slow that shit down. So anyway, let's go back, and Tbone, what we're going to do is we're going to cut here, and we're going to make our picks in the next video. So go catch that right now. You.